Hello, my friend. There's something I need to tell you right now, because whether you feel ready or not, deep down, your soul already is. God is proud of you. Not because you lived without mistakes. Not because you held it together when life tried to break you. Not even because you clung to faith when everything around you tried to bury it. God is proud of you because you kept going. You kept becoming. You refused to stop, even when the world whispered that it would be easier if you did. And maybe no one ever told you this before. Maybe, when you made the right choice with trembling hands, no one noticed. Maybe, when you poured out your last ounce of strength and still came up empty, nobody thanked you. Maybe, when you quietly chose love in a moment where revenge would have roared louder, nobody saw. But heaven did. And that's what you need to hold on to today. Nothing good you've done has gone unseen. Every sacrifice, every quiet act of courage, every healing choice you made without applause or guarantee, God noticed. You've been walking in a spiritual integrity that doesn't chase attention. You've been breaking cycles, healing wounds, holding peace in places where anger was the only language. And every single time you chose the harder, higher road, you built something eternal. You see, God isn't impressed by appearances. You don't earn divine favor by performing your pain the right way. That's not who you are, and that's not what this is about. You're not being honored for suffering in silence. You're being honored for rising in truth, for being real in the middle of your storms, for refusing to abandon your light just to fit into rooms that mistook your humility for weakness. You're being honored for feeling everything, yet still choosing love. Not love as a passing emotion, but love as a choice. Do you realize how rare that is? There's something sacred about a soul that can walk through fire without becoming what burned them. About someone who can stare cruelty in the face and still choose not to pass it forward. That's a strength no sermon can teach, no textbook can explain. And you carry that exact power. Whether you see it or not, you've shown God more about faith than most people ever will. Because your faith wasn't born in comfort. It was carved in the in-between, shaped in the places where nothing made sense, and still, you refuse to give up on the story. That's why the blessings unfolding now feel different. This isn't just your time in some vague cosmic cycle. This is the moment your truth begins to echo louder than your trials. You earned this season in silence, through late nights nobody knew about, through battles nobody clapped for. And now, heaven's applause is finally catching up to you. Through self-restraint that looked like weakness to those who never understood your discipline. Through choices that made no sense on paper, but aligned perfectly with your spirit, you kept walking. And now, something shifts. The light you've been protecting in private begins to ripple outward. The peace you used to fight for starts arriving without resistance. People begin to sense something around you they can't even explain. That's not an accident. That's the fruit of a soul that refused to quit. And maybe it still feels strange. Maybe you're still learning that goodness can reach you without chaos attached. Maybe joy feels foreign, like a language you once spoke fluently, but forgot after too many years of survival. That's okay. It's coming back. Not because you manifested it perfectly, not because you prayed with the right words, but because even when you doubted yourself, God never did. The divine knew exactly what it was doing when it placed that spirit inside you. When it gave you eyes that see deeper, a heart that feels wider, a voice that carries more power than you realize. You are healing, in motion. You are integrity, walking in a world obsessed with performance. You are a soul that remembers its source, even when the world forgets. And listen, it hasn't been easy. The holiest transformations never are. There were nights you couldn't sleep, mornings you didn't want to rise, moments you wanted to retaliate, but instead, you released. And that version of you, that quiet warrior, that's the one heaven celebrates the loudest. Not the perfect you, not the polished you, but the honest you. The one who wrestled, the one who stayed, the one who surrendered without ever quitting. You don't need to fight for a seat at the divine table anymore. You've already built it with your resilience, with your love, with your choice to keep walking when you had every reason to sit down. And now that seat is being prepared for you, not as a favor, but as a response. Because the same God who washed you through every hidden battle is now placing honor in your hands. So here you stand, on the edge of a life that finally recognizes you. And maybe it feels strange. Maybe you're not used to doors opening without a fight, to people seeing your worth without you first proving your pain. But hear me clearly. It's your turn now. Not just for peace, but for joy. Not just for survival, but for expansion. There's a difference between getting by and being blessed. And for too long, you've mastered endurance. But now, you're about to remember how to receive. This shift doesn't happen just because time passed. It happens when alignment finally catches up with identity. When your soul stops shrinking just to stay unnoticed. Because make no mistake, your presence is powerful. You are not just a light in someone's darkness. You are living proof that a soul can be soft and still unbreakable. That someone can lose everything and still build again, without bitterness. You carry the kind of grace that makes others question their masks. The kind of truth that doesn't need to scream to be heard. And now, the universe answers you back. Not in whispers, but in undeniable shifts. Opportunities that find you. Relationships that nourish you. Paths that once felt blocked beginning to clear right in front of you. Not because life suddenly got easy, but because you've become ready. You didn't skip a single step to get here. You lived every inch of this story. And you owe no one an explanation. You don't need to show your scars for them to respect your strength. You don't owe your journey just to justify your destination. Let them wonder. Let them question. God already saw it all. God kept count when no one else did. Every silent prayer. Every moment of restraint. Every quiet choice to not go back to the version of you that begged for crumbs. When you were born to command the feast. Your growth can't be measured by algorithms or captured by a camera. Because it happened deeper, inside your core. And from here forward, the world will feel different. Not because it changed, but because you did. Your discernment is sharper now. You don't entertain what drains you. You don't chase what confuses you. You don't bargain with energy that feels wrong, just because it comes disguised as opportunity. You finally know what peace feels like. That's why you can't stomach the chaos that used to feel normal. You're not above anyone. You've simply stopped shrinking beneath yourself. That's what spiritual maturity looks like. It's not one big arrival. It's the daily refusal to shrink. The small, sacred choices to stay true when compromise would be easier. The deep knowing that your value never shifts based on who sees it. And the rewards? They're not just coming. They're here. In the way your body feels safer to live in. In the way your spirit feels less scattered. In the way you no longer need to be understood in order to feel whole. Because the real reward isn't just what's about to show up. It's who you became while you waited. This isn't just a new chapter. It's a whole new book. And the rules aren't the same. The version of you that needed everyone's approval doesn't write this story anymore. The version of you that mistook loyalty for self-betrayal doesn't hold the pen. You do. And that hand, the one holding the pen, was kissed by God long before it ever knew what power it carried. So write boldly. Live truthfully. Choose with confidence. Not because you never failed, but because every fall was training for your rise. Every decision, every heartbreak, every lonely night, every time you started again, even while bleeding from the last ending, it was all counted. It was all holy. Because God is proud of you. Not for being fearless, but for moving anyway. Heaven saw. Heaven applauded. And heaven is still clapping. You've earned more than survival. You've earned the right to live.